Weekdays, 8 a.m. Live, local. Your Fox 29 Morning News starts now.
8:12 right now. We are inundated with advertisements on our TVs about picking a lawyer. But finding the right qualified attorney to help you with your legal problem can be a very difficult decision. Shari Olefson is a lawyer and author of Foreclosure Nation, and she joins us now with some insight. Shari, good morning, and thank you for being here.
Good morning, John.
Wow, this happens every day, several times a day. So what's the first thing that you should look for when trying to hire an attorney?
Well, there's three things. I like to think of them as the 3 C's when you're looking for a lawyer.
Okay.
And, you know, we all know those lawyer jokes, and they're funny because some of them are true.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we choose a good lawyer. We're trusting someone to protect our interests and to advise us. Number one, C number one is credentials. So when you're talking about credentials, you're talking about education, you're talking about experience and reputation. All law schools are not the same, so you want to know what school they went to. You want to know what kind of things they've been doing since they graduated from law school to continue their education. As far as experience, you want to make sure that they've handled cases like yours. And what kind of outcomes have they had? How long have they been doing them? As far as reputation, have they had any professional complaints? Can you get some actual customers who have been happy with their services and talk to those kinds of people? And is this person known as an expert in the community? Do they speak on the subject? Do they write about the subject? That type of thing.
All right, that's very important. Also, communication and
That's the
listening
second C.
abilities. That's
the
very
second
important.
C. You want to make sure that you're clicking with this lawyer.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that they're a good listener, that they communicate well. You want to make sure that their office staff seems to know what they're doing and be organized, and that this is someone that you're comfortable with. Sometimes we hear stories about lawyers actually causing more problems than they solve because they're not good communicators. And then, of course, the third C is cost. We can't avoid that.
Price is always a factor.
Right. You're going to look at either flat fees or contingency fees or an hourly rate. The thing that's important to remember with cost is that sometimes you do get what you pay for. So if you're paying a $500 flat fee, you are not going to get $600 or $700 worth of services. So if you're wondering why that lawyer's not calling you back quickly, it's because you didn't pay for that level of service, and sometimes you don't need it. Look, you don't need Roy Black for a traffic ticket.
Right, okay, good point. All right, so now you've gone through all that and you kind of had a good understanding, so where do you start looking for your attorney?
The best place, hands down, for any professional, including an attorney, is either personal references from friends and family or professional references from realtors or mortgage brokers or bankers or accountants who may work with those lawyers. The important thing to remember with references is you always want to ask, why are you referring me to this person? What's your experience with them? You want to make sure that it's not just someone who gets business in return from that lawyer or who happens to be related to the lawyer. You want to make sure it's someone who's had good experiences with that lawyer too.
All right, so now you're sitting down before your lawyer. What kind of questions should you ask him or her?
That's a great question. You want to ask, when was the last time you handled a case like this? What can I expect? What are my alternatives? How long will this take? And of course, how much will it cost and when can you get started?
All right, there's that cost thing again.
Right.
All right, Shari, thank you. A lot of good points there this morning. Next week, Shari will continue our series on finding reliable professionals. Next Wednesday, some tips on how to find a good mortgage broker, another important one, so stay tuned for that next Wednesday. Thanks again for being here. Roxanne?
A North Texas